Well, it's my pleasure to welcome on Linda Good McGillis on this auspicious weekend, heading into auspicious times that we are all stepping and feeling into. I would like to say one thing before I invite my friend on. I would like to say to all my people that watch this video, if you have not subscribed yet, getting very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love it if you would subscribe. Take it away, Miss Linda.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I am feeling so much, and like everyone else on the planet, I am having days of extreme energies and extreme stuff flowing through me where I feel like I'm going to explode. And then other days, I'm just kind of chilling through it. So that's what it's been like for me. What about you, Linda?
I've been traveling an awful lot, and there's a lot of energies. There really is a lot of energies. It, Not only with the activity of our sun and the solar maximum and everything that's going on, there is that great mirror. Many people have heard me talk about it a lot. The great mirror has been closing in, and it's here, and it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of light, and light is information. And as we go more into the solar maximum, it's gonna keep increasing. Whenever we have a solar maximum, we have what most people refer to as a shifted consciousness. What really occurs is a mental quickening. Every sunspot is a carrier of information, and they're carriers of information from different star systems. When those sunspots create a solar flare, that is a direct mental quickening to all human bodies. And that mental quickening causes a lot of confusion, a lot of discombobulation, a lot of rejection of information, because the mind cannot go past the boundaries of what it knows. And so when we have a shift in consciousness of any kind, a mental quickening of any kind, that pushes the mind into fear, because it's unknown information. It's outside of the boundaries of what the limitation of the mind of what it knows. And so it triggers a fear response within the mind. And fear is the veil that distracts one from hearing, seeing, and knowing the information of the soul. And so it takes a lot of inner strength, force, courage to break through the veil of fear of the boundaries of the mind. And so all of this light information is challenging those boundaries, those filters, those veils, those beliefs, whatever you need to refer to it as. And so as we get further and further and deeper into this solar maximum, that mental quickening is becoming quicker, more rapid, which leads into a lot of different narratives of what is occurring, what will occur, what shall occur. And a mental quickening is a change in frequency of a brainwave, of brain waves. So as the brain speeds up, more information is processed, if you will. If the mind cannot get past the limits of its own knowing, that causes struggle, that causes reactive behavior, if you will, which plays out. And so the totality that we are going into, with it being a new moon, it is going to literally close that gap of the mirror, the great mirror that consciousness
Wow.
is in a
Okay.
body. And it is going to collapse and bring into the physicality all 12 density dimensions of itself, what people call the quantum field, what people call past lives. There's no such thing as past lives. It's all simultaneous, parallel. And all of that information with this totality is now going to come into access, if you will. And so you have the boundaries of a box of what your mind knows, what it's experienced, no longer having those boundaries. And so anything that says it's of the past, of the future, of above, of below, of without, of within, of the macro, of the micro, all of those definitions, all of those concept theories, ideas at this totality become one whole. And the veil that the totality will remove for the entire civilization is what is going to present itself and unfold from now till mid next year. And that veil is the pain body. Any unfinished business in any of your simultaneous parallel realities of 12 density dimensions and every vibrational frequency within it is now going to present itself as light information within the vessel. And that pain body for everyone, any unfinished business that cannot match the light of what the solar maximum is bringing in, is going to now start to surface and unfold as an individual, as a family, as a group, as a collective, however you need to look at it. Micro and macro now come into back to the union of wholeness. And that is not easy for a mind that has been taught to not go past its own boundaries of what it knows physically.
I was just going to ask you, on the physical realms of this, what is that going to feel like? I know everyone's different, everyone's on their own rung of the ladder, but what will it kind of feel like in the sense of, going through this for the next year? I know what
It,
I've been feeling, but I want to see what you think.
it's going to bring up, the best way I can describe it is, as an individual, you have memories, let's just say this lifetime, of your childhood.
Right.
How you, the individual, has recorded those memories is recorded from your emotional, mental frame of mind.
Right.
It's you perceiving the experience,
Right. Right. Right.
which is a distorted memory because it's only through your perceptional memory bank. Then you have the accurate memory record,
Hmm.
which is going to show you the whole memory record from all aspects of it, not
All different
from
vantage
how
points.
yes. And that is what you're gonna have your individual Akashic memory,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna have your soul's Akashic memory come into one. and how
So
you
all that's gonna be
remember
felt. Yeah, yeah.
how you remember an experience. Okay, let's take a family reunion. I've used this example before. You and me were at a family reunion 10 years ago. Uncle Jack got drunk and created a whole hoop, blah, 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 blah. How I remember it and how you remember it are two different angles,
Right.
right? So you're going to have that memory, which is going to be distorted because it's only how you remember it. And then you're going to have the whole experiential record that's going to show you what really happened with you there, not you looking at it. So you're going to see the whole, okay, this is what happened. You're going to
And
see
that's gonna be
from
for
all
everything,
angles.
for your whole, all of your dimensional beings are all gonna be, all gonna be being processed. So like a quantum computer processing all of
Yeah,
this into one thing, like
yeah. And
minimizing it
it's
down to
not
one
going to
folder.
be, it's the end of the world as you know it from your individual looking out. Absolutely. Is it the end of the physical world? No. Is there going to be physical changes out here? Absolutely. Because there's a shift in consciousness, there's a mental quickening, which changes how you as an individual perceive reality.
Right.
What plays out here is always a delay from what is within. And so when that pain body is completely exposed and revealed, again, that's what all of this light does. It reveals the boundaries of our mind that our mind won't go past. And
Right.
that's painful. And as this information starts, that's what's happening at the totality. It is going to bring in light. It's going to bring in a whole lot of information. It's going to bring in a mental quickening at a mass account, at a mass collective. And as long as it surfaces and comes out here, that's a great thing, even though this may seem horrific or dark or evil or whatever label you want to give it. When it's out here, we see it's revealed. We can do something about it. We can shift it. We can change it. As long as it's inside, you can't see it. You know. And so the pain body now is going to reveal any unfinished business within a individual, any pain that they have avoided, any rejection, abandonment, anger, hatred. All of that is going to start surfacing and unfolding as the mind surrenders to the process of this new information. That's where the struggle always is, because the human aspect always believes that it is something of a definition. And the limits of the definition, the boundaries, because all boundaries are a definition that's been attached to,
Right.
is going to be challenged. And that's the painfulness of it. Yes, it's going to get chaotic and it's going to appear to be a lot of definitions, from horrific to evil to dark to whatever, but it's a definition. The soul has already ascended. It has to come to the surface to crumple. It has to come to the physicality. So all of this suppressed energy and suppressed distorted memories of it only being from one angle instead of the whole record is all going to come up. How is it going to look? People are going to get triggered because those that aren't aware to do the inner work, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't on a spiritual journey, that haven't done research. It just hasn't come into their awareness at that moment. It's
Right.
going to start coming into their awareness. And but also the cognitive understanding with this totality and the collapsing and the merging, if you will, which brings an emergence. It will bring a result. And that result is knowing miracles and in a higher frequency world and everything else. But you have to allow that which is being illuminated within, and that which is no longer needed coming to this without, that it's making room to shift the imagery and the boundaries that the individual and collective mind that I'm a part of has created. So is it really doom and gloom and fear based? Well, again, that is a limited concept of the individual. If you're perceiving that, then there is a separation within you
Right.
because you're putting it to an either or rather than the inner and understanding that it's unfolding. And as more and more release that which is not supportive of a higher frequency truth, of a higher consciousness, again, that it's a battle. But those who have that knowing, this can just be allowed to unfold with the knowing that it's being released. And as long as it's out here, it has already been cleared. There is nothing, oh, how do I say this? There is nothing out here that has power over you unless you choose the narrative of the imagery that is presenting itself. Now you have to understand there's a lot of imagery that's been inputted into the mind.
Yes.
There has been imagery, it's been dangled over through movies of horror, of bloodiness, of sacrifice, of Freddy Krueger's and all of these things and ideations and concepts and beliefs and Hollywood that has inputted imagery into the mind, and the mind again cannot go past what it knows. So if that information that's attached to that imagery, that is how it's going to process and perceive out here as all of these suppressed emotional distorted energies of pain and suffering and betrayal and abandonment and rejection
And
and
doesn't,
racism
yeah,
comes
and doesn't that fear energy just create that more? It just builds it. So if you have a feeling and then you attach an image in your brain of something because it's coming through and you don't just let it go, but you fixate on it, you can get into this loop of fear. And that's kind of what things feel
and
like
that
right now
fear
in the external.
is vicious
Everybody's just afraid, afraid, afraid that what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen with the solar
because
eclipse.
they're only attached to their own perception of how they perceive it. And this is where you're going to see a lot of the battle of well, that's your truth and this is my truth and all of that, because that is still distortion, because you're still looking at it in a separated mindset of that's your truth and this truth. Your truth of Jill the body, my truth of Linda the body, every human is always going to be a distortion because it takes you away from the truth of source, of God, of creator, which is whole. And as long as you personalize it,
Personalize it. Yeah, we were talking about that
that
earlier,
that's
personalizing it.
the issue. As long as you personalize it, it's no longer just information. We were talking before we started
Yeah.
this. I was telling you, not even anyone here that I live with, no one truly knows what me, Linda, believes. There's very little that I actually personalize to myself. For me, it's information. And that's hard
Exactly.
for somebody that does personalize everything to understand. Well, how can you see it as just information? Well, that's all it is information. I can make it personal or I can just leave it as what it is, information. And you guys can determine what that information is on
That
your level of belief
that is
system.
the existence that we all aim to be, is neutral. So this neutral space where we were talking before about the Eagles, and I was talking to you about my experience, and we all are going to get to a place eventually where we see everything from a bird's eye view of the whole entire picture, not just the picture of Linda or Jill
Of
or
looking out,
yes, yes, just that
because
one
the
little
human
vantage
body
point.
looks out, whereas your higher consciousness looks from above at the whole picture, you included in it, whereas your perception looks out, you're not included in it. And that's what I mean by personalizing it. Yes, there's
Yeah.
a micro and a macro. Yes, there you're having this experience and you, Jill, are having this experience and another person's having that. Yes, there's the micro experience. However, when the micro understands that it is just source in a vehicle, a unique vehicle of expression versus, oh, this is how I see it. This is my truth. The truth, the spirit, the source, God, creator does not individualize it to only a fractal being the truth of itself.
Right, 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 right.
So that polarity too is as long as it's an either or and it's not both simultaneously, there's going to be distortion of perception.
So I got a question for you. Going forward, let's fast forward some time, next year, the year after, the year after. When it's starting to be a more neutral arena of beings existing, how will Earth be with that duality that still exists? Because there's always going to be some, right? Because it
Well,
has to
you're
be
on a
there for,
dual existential disk plane. That's not changing.
right. So how will that look in a more neutral setting?
There's not an either or mentality.
It's just everything exists and everybody sees it.
What changes in the mental quickening and the shift in consciousness is you perceive from seeing the dualness simultaneously without defining it within an either or.
Thank you. That's really a key. That's a really key way of expressing that, because I think that's confusing to people when they
The
just think of duality.
Yes, the only way to truly love anything unconditionally, and hear this statement, the only way to truly love anything unconditionally is to see it for what it is and know it for what it can be. So the human, the micro, they see it and then they attach an either or a definition, a
Right.
category to it.
Right.
If you can see, okay, yes, this experience in this moment is awesome, or it sucks, or it's this, or it's that. If you can see it for what it is, yeah, this isn't a very good experience, or wow, I ate that, holy shit, that's really, really hot. And just see it for what it is. Yes, it's hot. In this moment, I am not enjoying this experience of eating that hot dish. I didn't realize it was going to be so spicy. if you can see it for what it is, and in that moment, understand it for what it can be or what it truly is, that is when you make the choice, instead of focusing on the viciousness or the glory or this, and get caught up in the moment, but allow yourself to be. No, don't go with the flow. Be the flow that flows through it, rather than getting caught up in it. And in that space, when you can, okay, yep, I don't know how I created this experience or what I needed it for, without playing victim to it or playing God to it, either one, you're going to create being the flow that flows through the experience, transforming the energy. Okay, this really sucks. My mouth is on fire and it won't stop, and you got tears streaming down your face. Okay, I love this experience. It sucks, but and then transmute it. That's okay. This too will pass, and I'll be, I'll be back to what I need to be. You have to be able to see it simultaneously, to see your either or simultaneously, because it's only in that moment that you can see through the smokescreen of imagery, of character, of personality, and truly see God in all things. People think nature is trees, is birds, is water, is grass, is sand. Nature is a life force, energy, essence within each of us. When you can understand that you created a garden through experiences and imagery, how do you like your garden? And if you don't like your garden, what your individual is seeing, then why did you create it that way? When you
Exactly.
understand that there's life force energy in the trees and every blade of grass, that was you putting a piece of a light particle of yourself and created that imagery. And that is hard for a lot of people to cognitively understand. The only thing you have any kind of interaction with is only ever in this moment, with what's going on in that moment in your physicality. But it's that moment that people sacrifice. It's that moment that people murder. It's that moment that people rape from themselves. And I use those words in the sense that that's what you're doing. You're robbing yourself of the moment because you're comparing it to something of the past, something similar, something someone said, something that was prophesied, something that's every prophecy is something that's already happened, not something that's going to occur. Anything to do with the planets, the sun, the moon, the earth, or this or that, the stars, is all cyclic. All cyclic. And it's for each and every one of us to remove that control and attachments and have a direct connection with source. So this totality didn't have to happen just to prove to those on an awakening spiritual ascension pathway, prove that they're in oneness with source. And yet, how many people focus on it? In any given moment, it is for each one to decide to stop being ruled and controlled by the planetary guardians, to ascend into the mastery without the Mollis, without the Ascended Masters, without the planetary guardians, without all of those stair steps in between your connection to source. And so the mass quickening that's taking place is truly giving great opportunity to dismantle the ideation. I can go on multiple angles on this, that you're on an ascension journey, that you're on an awakening journey, that you're on an awareness, a remembering journey, that you were in numbness and you were asleep and you had to awaken. They're all narratives and they're all bullshit, but yet they're all true, and yet they're all untrue. And you know, I know so many people that have awareness of any kind, and yet they know they're a spark of light. And yet, oh, I'll get there someday, Linda. Well, I want to get there, Linda. The fact that you believe that you want to get there, or you will get there someday, or Chiron is going to heal you, or this totality is going to bring you into wholeness and remove the veil, those are all narratives. And you can always overwrite any one of those alignments just by going in and developing the connection, a direct connection to source, to God, to creator within you. And then nothing out here, including planets, planetary alignments, eclipse cycles, Mercury retrogrades, none of it can affect you anymore. It can only affect you if you choose to keep believing that your soul is still on a journey of the stars. But the soul is already ascended.
And we're just catching up.
And the human limited mind of perception of seeing out is finally catching up. You've never been separated from God. You've never been separated from source or creator. So when you choose to get off of the hamster wheel of ascending, of awakening, and apply the knowing I am fully connected to my source, I'm fully connected to God, Father, Mother, Creator, whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
Then you're no longer waiting for something to occur.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
totality you come to understand already occurred. People are waiting for a solar flash that is magically going to turn everything in. The solar flash don't happen out here. It happens within. When it happens within, then the imagery will show itself outside. But again, they're waiting for something physical to happen. And the physical never happens in a flash. It unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's a
flash
process.
happens
Yep.
instantly within. So
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing about this totality is it's bringing the miracle of what has already occurred and been created to the mental awareness and perception of the human brain and the human body and the human molecular structure. It's a beautiful thing, but it does not feel beautiful when we bring it to the surface as we release that which no longer serves. Yes, we're going to go through a lot of natural disasters. Yes, you're going to live through it. Is
Yeah.
it doom and gloom? Is it fear-based? No, but to some it will be, because that's how the boundaries of their mind has not let them accept that information, but it will eventually. So there's a lot that is going to shift out here because the mental quickening is shifting consciousness within and without. Do people look at land changes and a breaking open a birthing and at the same time a crumbling of the old as fear-based and doom and gloom and darkness. Yes, because again, that's how you've been conditioned and taught, is an either or mentality.
Right.
And the soul is all simultaneously right now. And this is the most beautiful, miraculous, magical energy at the soul level. However, to the human experience, all of these beliefs, all of this distortion, all of this pain and suffering and the hurt that they have that is closed off their hearts is now going to keep presenting itself to the individual so it can see and become aware and become truly conscious of what is dictating their happiness. Because happiness is not an emotion, happiness is not a feeling, happiness is something that can only ever be generated when the mind is connected to the body mind in the present. And
Right.
that is the miracle that this is going to bring. Is it going to happen instantly within? Yes. Outside? No. It will unfold. And it's going to unfold it more and more as we go into the solar maximum. It's a beautiful thing. But when you have a civilization that has been veiled from all of the higher dimensional aspects of itself, it has been taught that there are good and evil, benevolent and malevolent, that somebody is always doing something to harm them. And they're veiled and told something different that is the accuracy that the soul knows. It's always going to create a battle of information. And there's a lot of information out here. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
True.
narratives. There is a lot of personal interpretation that's being passed off as truthful and accurate. And all of that has to come out and reveal and expose itself. It's not that something is being done to you. It is, all of this is unfolding for us so we can see what we have adopted that probably wasn't in the best interest for anyone.
Right. Right.
And it has to come out here. Is it going to be easy? No. But the fact that it's coming out and exposing itself, and we're seeing whatever label you label it, good, dark, evil, horrific, whatever it is, the pain body will always be perceived like that. So as the pain body truly now starts being revealed for everyone, that's not been dealt with and neutralized, it's not gonna be an easy walk. But
Do you foresee a lot of people are going to start being really, really triggered by each other for like really small things because that stuff's coming up? So something that might be something that seems so small or simple or trivial will suddenly just spin somebody into a place of, you know, chaos within themselves and anger and frustration and, maybe violence or, I'm not
because
saying.
the mind panics.
Right,
Remember, the mind cannot go past the boundaries of what it knows.
right,
And so 2/3 of humanity, if not more, that information is going to push. Excuse me. That information is going to trigger panic, anxiety, fear. And it's going to cause panic of confusion, panic from discombobulation, panic from too much information at once that it can't process.
That overwhelming feeling.
And
Yeah.
the mind dictates your nervous system
Yeah.
and your circulatory system, and it sends out those electrical impulses. So if somebody don't know how to handle
Yeah.
that, that's going to cause the reactionary responses, because you got to remember a lot of it is a lot of it is subconscious, unconscious to them.
Right.
They even have all of this. Very few people understand that disease and illness and pain physically in the body comes from suppressed emotional energy.
Right. Right.
As that pain body becomes revealed, comes to the surface, all of that suppressed emotional energy that is attached to even memories that they don't remember,
Right.
as it's revealed, we're not taught on how to handle emotions. We're not taught how to calm ourselves in a state of agitation or shock.
Right.
We're taught to freeze, to fight, or to flee.
Right.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Mhm.
So that is what's going to occur. But again, it's a miraculous thing, because as it shifts within and this stuff comes up, it gives opportunity to shift it, to transform it, to learn from it and to change. And that's important. The hardest thing is going to for people to process that it's a reflection
Yeah, that it's from inside. Yeah.
of what's inside. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, we reject the reflectional intelligence, or we reject the intelligence of reflection. It's really both.
Yeah.
Not understanding that our soul reveals things through our thoughts, through our words, through our reactions, through our responses, through our behaviors. And it's never easy when you have a dual plane of existence that is based on good and honor, our natural organic blueprint, versus the duality. There's a difference between a dual existential plane where everything is simultaneous and you're aware of it and have all the information in front of you, versus a veiled reality of good and evil that only lets you perceive from an either or. And when you got good and evil and good and honor that clash into each other, it's going to take time for that to harmonize and balance. That's the
No,
unfold.
I noticed a lot of
Excuse me.
people that I know, friends of mine, they get very, very pulled into the war stuff. And I always do my very best to express to them about not trying to focus on those things and put your attention on that constantly. And do you have some insight on that type of thing?
Stay present.
Yeah.
Where are you located, Jill?
I am in upstate New York. You
Exactly.
traveled
You're
nearby
in
me
New
not too
York.
long ago. Yep.
Tell me that you have experiential, actual intelligence of being in Israel in that war.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. Everything is second.
Right.
Now, that's not
Exactly.
to say that the people in Israel are not having the experience of war.
Right.
What I'm saying, and I'm not negating that it's occurring.
Okay. Yeah.
What I'm saying is you personally are in New York, you are not in Israel.
Right.
You do not have firsthand experiential knowledge
Correct.
of that war. Therefore, stay present where you're at in New York. Do what your soul needs you to do right there. Anything else is influential and secondhand information. Period.
Exactly.
So if Source wanted you in
Over there.
Israel
Hmm.
to firsthand experience that, you would be there. But Source
Right.
has you in New York right now.
Right.
Stay present. Do what you
Right.
need. Source is having you do right where you're at right now. And in the
Right.
process, by here and you transmuting what you can in your geographical location, you're automatically
Affecting
light
those areas. Yep.
to them and holding space. As long as you don't get caught up in their experience, let those that are there handle what they need to do there.
That's a really good way of expressing that. I
I'm
like
not
that.
negating it. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not
Right.
saying it is occurring. I'm not saying it is not occurring. What I'm saying is Source has you where you are in that moment for
Right.
you to have your light focused right there in the present of where your physical body is. And you can
Right.
hold space, you can send the light, you can surround them from here because they're those whomever, there is no they, but for those fractals of our light particle that are there experiencing that for us, we can send them light through here and through the star grid and the diamond heart grid. And that is how we help. It doesn't help us getting caught up in the secondhand information.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Stay
I do.
focused in your present where God has you, where Creator Source has you at right
Right.
now. There
Right.
is a purpose that you are there.
Right. Right. That's perfect. Thank you for sharing that. That
And
was
that
perfect.
is really necessary.
Yeah.
You got to keep bringing your mind present to where your life force energy
Right.
is. Your life force energy is in this moment
Right.
because it's only in this breath, this moment, that you have any power. Stay focused in your present.
Yes.
And
Yes.
something comes into your awareness, send it love, send it light
Yes.
without
Yeah.
putting it and making it personal.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
only place you have will. Free will is an illusion. Why? Because everything is influenced by the time it gets to where you're going to use your will. So as long as you stay present and centered in divine neutrality here and see
Right.
from your higher consciousness, which is God consciousness, which sees all of it rather than just you seeing out, you're going to be able to stay centered in that. And when you're centered in that, it's not personal. It's just
Right.
coming into your presence for you to shift,
Right.
to
Right.
transmute and transform the energy with your light.
Right.
But
Right.
if it's personal, then you're in the shadow of the fractal. You're not in the light because the light is source and source is neutral to the narratives, to the imagery.
Right. Right. Excellent. Well, I have another question that a lot of people have been focusing on this map where the 2017 eclipse
Up
came
in the
through.
narrative.
Yep. Ah, you're right. Well, why is that created? What's the center of that understanding to you? Why is that narrative been created?
All information is information.
Right.
And we have created a lot of narratives, a lot of symbolism, and enslaved ourselves in a lot of symbolism.
Yes, that's true.
And we have created what I'm going to label as markers
Yes, yes.
to show us a reflection of our soul's journey.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Makes sense. So it's like almost like
Just a
us
marker of
figuring it out.
symbolism to help the cognitive mind have its proof.
Okay, I got you. I got it. I caught it. I caught it. Yep, I see that.
Again,
See
it's
that.
symbolism, coding,
Yeah, it's that intelligence figuring itself out. I get it.
exactly. Again, if you close your eyes, none of this exists, just your soul. So when you open your eyes and you see anything, it's not just a message. It's just information that you have put out, the soul, not the individual, to give itself a Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trip home from the
Hey, the
mind
bread
to
from
find its
home.
way back home.
Yes, the breadcrumbs on the way home.
Because this is just a mirror of the soul's journey from within. And when you close your eyes and you go to the soul, there's none of us that exists. There's not my truth, your truth, this truth, that truth. There's the soul's journey.
The soul's journey. It's true.
And we get caught up in imagery and narrative out here of how we see it.
Well, that's going to be tricky going forward because there's going to be lots and lots of narratives, lots and lots of stories, and we have to focus on our hearts, focus on our love, focus on our own individual evolution in the sense of how we can interplay with everything
If you
in
go
our highest
within,
self. Yeah.
it'll be the soul's evolution. It will dictate the body of expression into its greatest alignment.
That's exciting. Wow.
In other words,
That's
you're coming back to that which you are, that which you always have been, if you allow yourself to let go of the boundaries of definition, of boundaries that you've allowed to define you and your personality and your character. And if you can let go of those defining boundaries,
is will that be a lot of human death? A lot of people leaving, a lot of us letting go of those stories because those were people and those will be gone.
I'm going to say yes, because there is a lot of narratives and beliefs that many have attached to. I can't wait to leave Earth. I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to go back home to my star systems, to blah 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 blah. So again, chosen,
Right.
but the human to the human aspect of us all, death is a loss. Death is
Right.
something sad. Death is horrible. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
people, you ask that question and people hear, oh God, there's going to be a lot of death and oh, that's population control and blah, 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 blah. It's none of those things. Again,
Right.
the soul rids itself of that which is no longer in alignment for its
Mhm.
path.
Right.
And there's aspects of us and narratives and this, that, and the other that we don't need. And there are character roles that we don't need anymore. And so those souls, whatever narrative they give it, have chosen to go back to their own experience rather than playing a mirror or whatever.
Right.
So again, a lot of freedom, a lot of liberation from a lot of limitations, a lot of theories, a lot of narratives, a lot of invisible boundaries that are no longer necessary.
That's exciting. That sounds so freeing. That sounds so magnificent. It sounds like just being like floating out in the air, just
It's
floating.
beautiful. It really is beautiful, but the freedom and liberation that each truly want and desire is from the boundaries of its mind.
Yes, I was just gonna say the mind, the
The
mind.
boundaries of fear of the unknown. Because to know nothing is to step into the unknown. So you cannot, it's not a matter of learning. It's a matter of being in a space of awe, of wondrous discovery.
Like a child.
Yes, and you can only do that in the present moment, because only in the present moment, if you don't allow your mind to categorize or define or compare, it's you will always see something brand new that you didn't see before. But you can only see that and hear it in the present, and the mind is always wandering, comparing, competing to, to something.
So that mind has to give up. It lost the match.
It has to surrender because
It
truly,
has to give up. Yes.
you know I'm not going to say the light has won, because that's inaccurate. However, our soul has broke through any limitations, and now the vehicles, the bodies of expression are being fully realigned to that liberation and freedom. But in order to do that, we have to release that which was misaligned. And that is the human part that we experience that is never comfortable. But
Yeah.
again, stay here knowing that they're both unfolding simultaneously.
Yeah.
And in any given moment, if you allow, you will see both unfolding simultaneously and how they're truly harmonizing each other out. It's just a matter of the personal perception of the individual, of how they do. You want to continue running the individual program, or do you want to align with the unique expression of God's source consciousness? And it's a
That's what we want.
beautiful thing.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
See,
That's
for
what we want.
me, everybody's like, Linda, you focus on the negative, you focus on this, you focus on that. For me, I don't see it as positive or negative.
No, it's just all
For
there.
me, it's a beautiful dance of crumbling and birthing at the same time, because the second you start a creation is the second you start its destruction as well.
It's
They
just constant.
Yeah, the ancient mystery of judgment, everything comes full circle. So I don't perceive anything as detrimental or fear-based or doom or gloom or good or evil or any of that. It's an unfolding. And when you surrender and understand everything physical is what your soul needs to unfold and reveal and blah, 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 it's easier to get
And
through.
it's like a letting go process of control. It's an ultimate letting go.
It's a surrendering of the boundaries of what the mind knows. That's all it is.
It feels like so much more because we've externalized it all. We've externalized so much that we just don't know the difference between, oh my gosh, this is my thoughts and I just created that, versus, wow, this is happening outside of me.
wow, how did I participate in this?
Yeah, I
But
do
the
this.
biggest thing is people are going to learn and discover through this unveiling and this unfolding that the totality is going to bring, is going to activate within, illuminate, is there is nothing outside of them, no person, no place, no experience outside of this moment that dictates how you feel inside. Your hatred, your viciousness, your anger, your everything.
All your choice.
Yes.
All your choice.
And it's your behaviors in the present. It's your manipulation, your control, your whatever it is in the present that you don't recognize, and you put how you feel in the present onto somebody that causes pain and suffering for another. And that is going to be the biggest thing people by the middle of next year will truly realize. That they have lived their life blaming everything
Every,
outside of
yeah,
them for how they feel, and how they feel inside is exactly from their own use of will.
right. Their own use of will. Does everybody hear that? Their own use of will.
Because
Say that
what
three
you do
times,
to
universe.
another through the avoidance of how you feel inside, and you attach it to something physical or someone or some experience, you are blaming the world. You're putting the burden of the accountability and responsibility for how you feel on God's world out here. And that is going to be, that is your act of will to create unnecessary pain and suffering. And that is, now mind you, the trigger is in a person. And if they put that trigger onto someone or something outside of them, that's the karmic imprint that they are putting within themselves. And that's what has to be healed. It's not that somebody did something to you to hurt you. It's that pain and hurt that you're saying someone else caused was put there because of how you made another feel with your act of will. And you lie to somebody, it hurts them. And then you get butthurt because they tell you, no, you lied to me and it hurt. That is how we have lived with that type of interaction. And that is really what's going to be unveiled, is the walls and stuff that we have that closed off our heart, we had said was the cause of somebody else, when we're the ones who suppressed the emotion. We're the ones that didn't want to feel it. And that self-realization is never easy.
Yeah.
And
A lot
that's
of
the
a
self
lot of authenticity is gonna start coming out.
people, the soul is, again, that mirror is closing in, and the soul is going to show the individual everything it needs to show it, for the
Mhm.
individual to truly heal their heart, for them to truly see their participation in the misery of their life. Um, the boundaries that they put up, the definitions that they gave. And it's painful and as uncomfortable as that is for any of us. That inner work and that inner healing has to take place for us as a collective, for us as individuals. The beautiful thing from another angle of it is we've hit a critical mass point.
Yeah.
For those of us who have done the inner work, um, are still doing the inner work, however you need to look at it, that is going to have a ripple effect out with this totality, which is going to also help harmonize it quicker. So,
Yeah.
it's miraculous and it's beautiful, and it is a freedom and a liberation if you, as individuals, and it can truly surrender to a higher knowing that it has to unfold the way it's going to unfold, that it is in creator's hands, in God's hand, and let this unfold without getting too caught up and trapped in it. This is where you're in the world, but you don't have to be of it. And you have to be of the world that you're creating, that you're not yet physically perceiving to be in it. And let the nature of our spirit, let creator harmonize out here. We can't control how it unfolds. Stay present with what you can do.
Yeah. Your scope, your region, your environment right around you, your house, your
Yeah.
neighborhood,
And
your people you
keep
deal with
clearing,
around.
keep clearing all the way out.
Yeah.
And in that transmuting of that energy, you're helping every other aspect of us. it's
Yeah.
it's a beautiful unfolding,
Yeah.
but it's going to be a rapid,
I think the
because it's a
speed is pretty
miracle.
nauseating. I know one of the things that I have actually felt, which has been pretty mind-boggling, is I have gone through this multi-dimensionality thing where I can be doing one or two or three things at once and be very present in each one, which is really, it's kind of bewildering to me sometimes. I don't know what that's all about, but that's been very interesting.
Well, for like 2 weeks, I was telling these guys, it's like it is so weird. It's like I'm outside my body and I'm watching my body. And my body's I'm interacting as my body. And it was so distinctive and so visual. And I knew what was occurring. Again, all the dimensional timelines coming in. But for me, my vessel was expanding out,
Hmm. Okay.
because again, you're taught as the individual fractal that looks out that consciousness is inside your body. However, your body is inside a sphere of consciousness. So I knew what was occurring, that the rest of that alignment was, instead of being the dot in a circle, you expand yourself out to be the perimeter of
Hmm.
the whole sphere.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
It's
there
so
is no you. And so it was really cool, because I was just literally watching the body illuminate to its nothingness. And it, it's a beautiful thing. More and
yeah.
more, more
It's
and more are going to be able to shift to the sphere, rather than being the fractal mentality of being the point in the sphere. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
And it's weird when you're going through these things because you're like, is anyone else going through this? What is people going through? Like, where are people at? Like, it's just such an unusual, you know, discovery. It's like such a cool discovery when you start tapping into these things and you're just like, where is everybody else at? Not that everyone else has to be there, but it's just interesting.
And everybody else is already there with you. You're just
Yeah.
not seeing them at everybody else. You're seeing them as particles of light.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's, and not everybody is going to be able to perceive and tune into to that which others are. And it's, you know, it's a stairway to awakening. And
Mm.
it's like an accordion. And that accordion's being closed now permanently. That accordion don't need those folds in time and space continuum anymore.
Mhm.
We don't need the fun house of mirrors of evil clowns,
Evil
you
clown.
know, of and that's what we've created, a fun house of mirrors that we forgot were mirrors and we turned them into evil clowns. And so now it's time to burn the fun house down.
Turn
It's
it all
time
down.
to let go of those distorted images that we've created of ourselves. And that's freedom and liberation in and of itself. This is the greatest moment, milestone, marker, whatever you want to say, of cognitive proof that so many need to give themselves that they're not crazy.
Permission. Yeah, permission.
Permission to believe in themselves, in their own knowing, rather than it having to be a battle of truths or this or that, a battle of high vibes, low vibes. Even that's a polarity. So, you know, love is, and it has no defining boundaries and it has no definition. And unfortunately, we've been conditioned to believe that love has a whole, that love is an emotion, that love is a feeling, that love is a definition, that love equates to romance, sex, money, this, that, and the other. And when you remove all those veils of definition, you come to find out that love is, and it is completely sensory.
Just is.
That it is an unseen light that is not seen. And it is the most beautiful, magical, precious force of life there is. And in that, there is no duality.
Wholeness.
And for many, that's what this is going to unfold us into. The within and the without, in that sacred dance, that sacred union, not to be separated again. And that's something to celebrate, because we've broke through that barrier as a mass rather than it just be one or two of us.
And that is that Christ consciousness connection
Mhm. Yeah.
that everybody talks about.
And this is the beginning of the flooding of that, really, truly. So let the fireworks begin.
Linda, oh my gosh.
Hey, it's announcing the birth of the new that's already taken place, you know.
The fireworks. Yeah, it's gonna be some fireworks, all right.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna, are you gonna be in Texas?
Oh yeah, we at our ranch, we got a perfect view, and from like 1:40 to 1:44 p.m. is going to be the totality, and we're going to see it right over our lake.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
we're gonna we have the neighbors and friends from out of town and stuff come. We're gonna have a fire out here because darker, as it closes over the sun, it
Now,
gets
are
dark,
you
it
gonna get
gets
the
cold.
totality for like 3 minutes? Because I'm
No,
only
we
gonna
get
get
the
the
full.
totality for 90
Oh no,
seconds.
we get it for the full little
However the minutes
5 minutes.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I only am gonna have it for 90 seconds, but I still am gonna be in the totality. So
you can
I'm
fly in and come to the ranch. You'll see it for all 4 minutes in.
Yeah, imagine trying to get to you now, Linda. Holy cow. I'd have
Yeah,
to use some superhuman powers to get there.
yeah, there, I tell you what, there's a lot of people. There's not a hotel around here that hasn't opened.
Oh yeah, I
And
bet.
they have electronic signs along all 3 interstates, back roads, everything saying no parking on the roadways. All
Yeah. Yeah, even in Syracuse, which is the city that I live near, which is not a big city and not a wonderful, beautiful. I'm not disrespecting my city, but it's not a place that people really come to visit. And they're even all the hotels, everything's booked up because we're supposed to have clearness, like sun, like we're not going to have clouds in our area, which is unheard of, Linda. Normally it's very cloudy here.
they're trying to say it's gonna storm here. It's like, nah,
Not with Linda there.
yeah, it'll be clear.
Yes, you'll make it clear. All of you at the ranch, she'll just put your light out there and yep.
It's when you truly grasp cognitively how powerful you are and how truly much you can transform in stuff. It's easy not to get stuck in a loop or
Hmm.
somebody else's loop.
Yeah, somebody else's loop is, yeah, that's not yours. Don't hold it. Don't play with it. It's
And
not yours.
that's the tough part. People want you in their loop. They don't.
Yeah.
Misery loves company, and misery don't like it when it gets told no. you know. So, I don't know. Whether you look at it as fear and doom and gloom and negative of what's gonna start unfolding, or whether you can truly stay at the neutral and see the underlying what is also unfolding of the miracle. y- You know, stay here and allow it to unfold and not get caught up in it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the name of the game. Stay present in the moment.
Yeah,
It's
because in the
something you
moment,
hear a
it's
lot,
the
but
only place you have any kind of control of your will.
yeah,
And
yeah.
let it unfold because the miracle will unfold, and you may not see the miracle right away, but it's unfolding as the debris gets swept away out here.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be faster than we all think just because everything's been so fast. I don't see that it's going to be a long drawn out thing. I think it's going to happen fairly quickly, maybe a year.
It'll start getting better. We're walking through 5 nights of the world's soul. And that halfway point is the end of June, beginning of July next year. So, let it unfold. But at the same time, the miracle's unfolding, and it's going to start presenting itself weaved into what is crumbling. And as we get into mid next year, you know, we start going down the other side of the mountain. So
Mm.
where the crumbling is so prevalent, as we move forward, it's going to get less and less as the new creation really starts taking a hold in the perception. So it's miraculous and magical what is occurring, as long as you don't get caught up in narratives and understand that it's weaved. So
Mm.
they're both happening simultaneously.
Right. That's the thing that came to my consciousness is when things are breaking down, things are growing right up under it. So it's not like everyone has this fear like, oh my god, everything is destroyed, how are we going to survive? Like, no, it's not being just, it's all happening at once. The
Exactly.
creation and destruction are like, it's symbiotic, it's happening all at the same time.
And it's beautiful. Our journey through the 12 ages is coming to a close. We're in the third decade, we're decade of Pisces. And the age of Pisces was the last age the soul had to walk through. So we don't need that star map anymore. We don't need that planetary guidance anymore. You know, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's very miraculous, even though may not, again, the human who wants instant gratification, wants instant proof. It's an unfolding. It's an
Yeah,
unfolding.
I know personally, I felt just in the last 6 months, I felt such a lightness that I've never felt before. Such a lightness. Such a lightness.
And
So
that heaviness more and more, is dissipating. It's a time to celebrate and dance. Every moment's a brand new moment to dance.
I agree, Linda.
You
I
know,
agree. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
so soar,
Soar,
soar.
soar, soar.
Don't go with the flow because you're waiting for a flow.
That's so
Be,
true.
be the flow. No, just flow through the narratives.
As you do it more and more, and as you don't get attached and don't stay focused, it really does just flow. It's not, because I noticed, I don't watch the news and I haven't for a very, very long time. I know that a lot of the stuff that other people are dwelling or thinking or obsessing or whatever, looking at, it's not even in my consciousness. Like, I don't even know about it until someone tells me. And then I'm like,
The
oh,
news is commentary, which is what we unfortunately have created about our own individual truths. We think our opinions and assumptions and jump to conclusions. That commentary is truthful and important. And for those truly that are sending into their higher consciousness, none of that matters because it's not about the personal perspective. It's source consciousness. It's information. It's not personal, just to me, just to you. The soul is the soul, and we all get the same information. It's just a matter of the filters and the veils that we and beliefs and boundaries of our minds that we choose to hold on to.
and I think that's a true gauge for each human to know where they are. If they ever have to question it, they don't have to go outside to question it. They just have to look at these things and see where they're at with it all.
It's
Because
just like, how many of us sit there and say, well, I don't like squash. My parents made me eat it when I was a kid and I just don't like it, blah, blah, blah. And they're now 50, 60, 70 years old and saying, I haven't eaten squash my whole life. I don't like squash. Not understanding that every 7 years your taste buds change.
yeah,
They
exactly. Right.
just held on to, well, I didn't like it then, so I know I don't like it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same idea throughout everything.
And those are the things that we stop you from being new,
Yeah,
perceiving new, being new.
thing is letting go and becoming something else, letting go and becoming something else, letting go and becoming something else. And I think the most youthful humans I know are the ones that are really good at that, that really don't hold on to things and just walk through it all and change and grow and learn. Even AI, like, that's a great example. Like, so many people have so much fear about all that. It's like it's just another thing going on.
It's a tool if you use it as a tool. If you use it to as if from a codependent nature, you've just given it all your power.
Right.
It's a tool. You know, let it do your laundry, let it mop your floor. That way you have time to go draw or paint or dance or sing or create,
Yeah.
instead
And
of
and
let it
the
think for
the
you
reason
instead of
I get-
let it make your decisions for you instead of, you know, it creating your art for you and your drawings for you while you're doing laundry, while you're
Exactly.
cleaning, you know, again, we use it for the for the wrong things.
That'll shift too, though, with the consciousness change, that will shift. And that's something people don't understand. As the consciousness changes and evolves, then the story, the whole collective story is going to change. So
There
all
isn't
this
gonna be a
about
there
AI,
it's not gonna be a corrupted medical system that, all of that shifts as the individual shifts its boundaries of beliefs.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So dance, truly, this is a time truly to stay off of social media, to stay off of all of these things and really take the time because it's so fertile right now and really connect to the fire that all of this solar maximum and everything is gracing us with, that light, that purification, that detoxification.
And
There-
it can act as a catapult, I believe, in some ways.
it's a beautiful thing. Fill yourself up with the pure light, which appears as blackness.
It's gonna be so I can't it's gonna be so interesting to see. So, so interesting to see.
It's for me, it's exciting.
Yeah,
I I love it. So, but I've experienced the mental quickening in so many ways prior to this, so I got a handle on my mind. I'm not
yeah,
intimidated by change. I'm not intimidated or fear the unknown.
right,
And I'm in more of a place of acceptance than with my mind than a lot of people.
right.
Discombobulation and confusion doesn't happen with me so much as it does a lot of people. And that's where you really want to assist somebody in distracting them from their panic and
Yeah.
helping them through it.
Yeah, that's really important. I know that even when I felt that tremendous surge going through me for like a whole day, like we talked about before we came on, I've just been doing breath work. Like that's been a really, really excellent. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and you just breathe. You just get
Deep
consciously
breathing
breathing. Yes, and hold it in, release it, and
and
just
then
do
let it out.
over. And even if you just do it for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long you have, it literally will recenter your body. And then even
And
if
it
you are,
will, because it brings you back present.
and lavender tea, I that's one of my favorites.
Magnesium flakes baths, salt baths, that will
Epsom
help too.
salts. Yeah,
Magnesium baths.
yeah.
Buy
Those,
magnesium flakes, Dead Sea salt, and that will really, really help right now. As
yeah,
a lot is released into the quantum fields and the energy fields, and that will
yeah.
help a lot.
It's going to be up and down. It's going to be back and forth with the way that the energy comes through for each person. I know that for myself. It's been
And I
very,
and I would really encourage people to take 5-10 minutes numerous times a day, few times a day, and clap.
clap, clap. So what is clapping doing?
It's the easiest way to raise the vibration of your energy field.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Great reminder, Linda. I totally forgot about that.
Yep. Clap.
Wow. That's such a simple one that we all forget.
Yep.
Wow.
Clap and
Clap.
celebrate.
Yeah, people don't know why you're clapping. Clap wherever you are. No one knows.
Raise the vibration all around
That's
in your energy field wherever you go.
clap. Okay,
Stop,
that's
get
a good one.
present, and, you know,
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I think we're gonna have you on before too long, Linda. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, depending on
Sure.
where you what you're doing, what's going on.
I stay in the now. Spirit tells me to go now. I go. Not 3 weeks, not a month, not when I can plan it. I go.
Hallelujah.
Stay in
It's
the now.
a story. I love it. I get so excited when I hear you're going here, going there, doing this, doing that.
I
Like,
go and
yeah,
get back. I just the world is a magical place, and you come to realize that people are the same everywhere.
yeah, yeah. It's so true.
Mm.
It's so true. And all the energies, there's ley lines everywhere. So there's always going to be some sort of something going on somewhere.
Well, you can release the ley line program too.
Okay. You say that. Okay, Linda.
You
Thank
can
you. Let's
let
read
the narratives go.
let it go. Let it go. No more ley lines. We're going into new realms.
Yeah,
No,
we don't need the ley lines of the old.
I like that. Such a subtle but good reminder.
Stay present.
Stay present. Stay present.
Stay present.
Stay present. I think we should leave it right there at stay present.
Stay present. Happy totality. Welcome
Thank
home to your
thank
mind.
you so much. So every time you come on, you're such a blessing and I appreciate you so much. And I know all the peeps out there, the thousands of people that are watching you are going to be so excited. So I got to hurry up and get this all uploaded so we can all share.
Big hugs to everybody. Stay present and breathe. Breathe
Yes.
if you're confused, if you're discombobulated, if you're anxious, if you're panicked. Use the force of your strength to bring you back to the present and breathe. And when your mind tells you you can't breathe, bring your mind back to the present and prove it. See, you are breathing.
Perfect. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome, beautiful. Thank you all. I love you all.
Love you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, beautiful.
Yes, we will. Soon, soon, soon.
Bye bye.